Okay, this is cleaned up, all the grime and gunk off it and any old loose paint. Even took some of the, or quite a bit of the old paint off as well anyway. But I just wanted to go over this before I start putting red oxide all over this, and just generally look at it and point out some bits with it. Now, on this end here, there is, let's see if I can swing that round. Oh yeah. Now, that has got to be for an extension of some sort, because the legs obviously fit down there if there was them for them. So it's had an extension of some time on it. So maybe that will help identify somewhere along the line. Back to this end again, and we've got down on this end we've got a couple of holes in there, and a hole, this is on the back side of it, a tapped hole there as well. Perhaps that's for the drive mechanism that will sit out, maybe above, I don't know whether this one just sat to the rear of it or above, or both. So perhaps that's something to do with that. So I can pass on that one for now. Other stuff. What can we see? Let's turn it upside down. Alright, you can probably see down here there's a lot of porosity in the casting down there. So maybe let the cane. Right, it's a noisy bugger. Right, as I was saying, porosity in the casting down there. So, but I can't see that's really going to hurt anything very much. The other interesting thing to note is that all the machine surfaces on here, with all the straight lines on there, I think that should have been a hole there, because all the holes seem to have been punched out. But anyway, all these lines suggest that this was machined on a shaper. Even these here, they've all got all these straight, very long, straight parallel lines in. So even on here, all parallel lines. All this is all parallel lines all the way along. So that's had quite a travel on that shaper. If that's, I should imagine that's done that all in one. So that must have been a big old machine that did that. So it's done the feet as well. But there's literally no other marks on this, nothing to identify it. There's no numbers, no lettering, nothing at all anywhere. So I'm just hoping there may have been something somewhere just to say where things go. That's where the gap goes. I've cleaned the gap. It's not fully clean yet, but I've cleaned most of the gunk and gun job. All the way around. The gap sits in there. That still wants washed down. I'll wash it down with some white spirit before we paint it. But that's now ready for red oxide and then top coat paint. I'm not going to tell you what that is yet. It's not grey. Another little thing I just want to go over with is the gear change wheels. Now this is existing machine, and I ordered just to see how it is, just a second-hand one off of the Myford lathe, just to see what the difference was. So I ordered a 40 tooth Myford just to see how they meshed. Well, they're a mile apart. So that's, I'm not sure, that's a 36 tooth and that's a 40 tooth. So it's half the thickness. It's the bore is nearly there. That's slightly smaller, so the bore is almost there. So Myford ones aren't any better, or aren't any good, but that doesn't mean to say I can't use them. So long as they've got the right gear ratios, it doesn't really matter what size the gears are. So long as I put the driving one, whichever that will be, I can change that to a Myford, and then whatever's on the lead screw will be a Myford, and everything in between, as long as they match up to the gear ratios that are on the plate that came with the machine, everything should work. I could use Myford gears. The only problem with that is if they set up sort of between, let's see if I can find some of the bits they've got to attach to. Here we go. This thing here. I've started to clean this. Well, we've got to have one on there. Well, I think the one that goes on here for metric threading is one of 127 tooth, so it's going to be quite a bit bigger than that. But then the other ones have got to go on here. So it probably isn't going to work out, but we'll just have to see what we can do. I doubt we'll ever find anything to match these gears or any existing ones, if this is the only lathe in existence. Maybe it is, I don't know. But if it is, I think we're going to have an awful lot of problems trying to find a used set of these anywhere. The company that supposedly made this is still operating in Wellingborough, so it may be worth approaching them about making a new set of gears, because they do precision engineering still. Likely they're going to charge me for it. I don't think they'd want to do it free of charge, because that's going to cost a lot of money to have all this set made up. They might want to do it just to see if, or to get one of their old machines running again, up to full speed. You never know. Wishful thinking probably, but I know it could be a thing for me to try and make myself. Not sure what they're made of. I can get a file and just check the hardness of them. Let's see. No, they're not. That's not hard. It's probably just mild steel. It's not hard at all. So, it's only mild steel. I can perhaps make some myself. I've seen there's a lot of videos on YouTube about how to cut gear cogs on a lathe. Since I don't have a mill either, but get this up and running, I might be able to cut a set of these. That's something for the future. It won't be anything that will be done anytime soon, but you never know. Watch this space. So there you go. That's where we're at the moment. I haven't really cleaned anything else up. The rack, that's just had a first initial clean up. I'm going to give that a bit of a polish, but I've got all the gunk and grime off it, so that'll be nice when it goes back on. But that's about all there is so far. The rest of it around here, so that is now all red oxide, so that's all ready for the top coat of paint, and then we can put that back together. It still looks a bit wet under there. Let that dry. The other thing I didn't show you last time was the chuck that came with this, and this is a 5-inch crown. There's a mark on it. There's a mark just there, if you can see that. Well, as you see from photos, it was as filthy as everything else. It's just covered in oil at the minute, where I've just oiled it to keep it clean, but I completely stripped it, took it all apart, cleaned it all out, put it back together. All the numbers in there, they all match. 771 I think is the numbers, and every part is stamped with the same numbers. It's all matched up. There's register marks on where this fits, even down to the, where is it? There's one of these that is marked. Which one is it? That one there then. That's it, there's a 0 marked on there, so that's the main, don't know what you call them, where you tighten it down with. But that's a nice little, tight little chuck, that. It's alright. The machine also came with this face plate, but the thread in there is different. It doesn't fit, but it's got a true, the boss on there is quite true, so that can clamp in into the jaws of the truck, and I can use the faceplate that way. Whether I will or not, I don't know. There you go. That's the update so far.